A young, determined football ground manager, Marcus, starts his job at a prestigious stadium. On his first day, he notices someone using the ground without proper clearance. Unaware it's Cristiano Ronaldo. It was Marcus's first day as the new football ground manager at one of the most prestigious stadiums in the world. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting golden light across the empty stands and lush green pitch. Marcus had dreamed of this moment for years. Having worked his way up from small local pitches to now managing a stadium that hosted some of the biggest names in football, he felt both excitement and an immense sense of responsibility. As he walked through the grounds, clipboard in hand, he inspected every corner of the facility, ensuring everything was in pristine condition. This wasn't just a job to Marcus. It was his passion. He had always believed that the foundation of great football was a well-maintained and perfectly managed ground. Marcus had promised himself he wouldn't let anything or anyone disrupt the integrity of his new role. Midway through his rounds, Marcus noticed a lone figure on the field, dribbling a ball with remarkable skill. At first, he was impressed by the player's control and precision, but then he frowned. The field was strictly reserved for scheduled practice sessions, and as far as he knew, there was no booking for the morning. Marcus decided to address the issue immediately. Walking briskly onto the field, he approached the player, whose back was turned. Clearing his throat, Marcus called out, "Excuse me, sir, the field is closed for unscheduled use. You'll need to leave." The man turned around, revealing his face, and Marcus froze for a moment, unsure if he was seeing things. Standing before him was none other than Cristiano Ronaldo. Marcus's mind raced, but he quickly regained his composure. He didn't care who it was. Rules were rules. "I'm sorry, but you can't be here without proper clearance," Marcus said firmly, his voice steady despite the surreal situation. Ronaldo looked at Marcus with a mix of surprise and amusement but didn't argue. Instead, he gave a small nod, picked up his ball, and left the field without a word. Marcus, unaware of the storm he had just unleashed, resumed his duties, confident that he had done the right thing. The next morning, Marcus arrived at the stadium early, ready to dive into another day of managing the grounds. He hadn't thought much about the incident from the day before, chalking it up as just another part of enforcing the rules. As he stepped into his office, he noticed his phone buzzing nonstop with notifications. Confused, Marcus unlocked it and was met with an explosion of messages, missed calls, and emails. Social media was ablaze with posts and videos of the previous day's encounter. Someone had recorded his confrontation with Cristiano Ronaldo and uploaded it online. The clip had gone viral overnight, with millions of views and comments pouring in from around the world. Some people praised Marcus for sticking to the rules and treating everyone equally, regardless of their status. Others, however, criticized him for not recognizing Ronaldo and accused him of overstepping his authority. Sports news channels picked up the story, turning Marcus into an overnight sensation. He scrolled through the flood of opinions, his heart pounding. The fame was overwhelming, but it wasn't the kind of attention he had ever wanted. All Marcus had ever cared about was doing his job with integrity, but now he felt as if his career and reputation were being debated by the entire world. Amid the chaos, Marcus resolved to stay focused, unsure of how the situation would unfold but determined to stand by his principles. The uproar over the viral video continued to spiral as the day wore on. News outlets dissected every second of the interaction, turning what had been a straightforward enforcement of rules into a worldwide spectacle. Marcus found himself in an unfamiliar and uncomfortable position, with reporters stationed outside the stadium and endless calls from journalists seeking his comment. Even his colleagues seemed divided. Some admired his professionalism, while others whispered that he might have gone too far. Yet Marcus remained steadfast in his belief that he had done the right thing. Rules were rules, and he had treated Ronaldo no differently than he would have treated anyone else. Still, the weight of the scrutiny began to take its toll. As he walked through the stadium that morning, he couldn't ignore the lingering stares or the hushed conversations that seemed to follow him. For the first time since taking on the role, Marcus felt unsure of himself, wondering if his principles had led him into trouble instead of respect. Meanwhile, Cristiano Ronaldo, who had watched the aftermath of the incident unfold from the sidelines, was intrigued. He had been approached countless times in his life by people eager to please him or gain favor. But Marcus was different. Ronaldo respected the young manager's conviction and the way he had held his ground, even under pressure. It wasn't every day someone dared to confront one of the most famous athletes in the world without flinching. As Ronaldo reflected on the encounter, he found himself wanting to meet Marcus again, not out of anger, but out of curiosity. There was something refreshing about the way Marcus had handled the situation, and Ronaldo wondered if this grounded, rule-driven manager might possess qualities that could be valuable beyond the confines of the stadium. Unaware of Ronaldo's thoughts, Marcus tried to carry on with his work, but the attention was relentless. Fans of Ronaldo flooded the stadium's email and social media accounts, some demanding Marcus's resignation, while others commended him for standing his ground. By the afternoon, Marcus found himself summoned to an urgent meeting with the stadium's senior management. He braced himself for what was likely to be a tense discussion, uncertain of what they would say or how they would react to the media storm. As he sat waiting in the boardroom, his mind raced with possibilities. Would they defend his actions, or would they see him as a liability? For Marcus, the next few moments could determine the course of his career, and for the first time since the incident he felt the weight of doubt creeping in. But deep down, he reminded himself of one thing. No matter what happened, he had stayed true to his principles, and that was something no one could take away from him. As Marcus sat in the boardroom, the air felt heavy with tension. The senior management team entered, their faces a mix of concern and stern professionalism. The head of operations wasted no time, laying out the situation before Marcus. The viral video had brought unprecedented attention to the stadium, both good and bad. Sponsors were intrigued by the sudden spotlight, while others worried about the backlash from Ronaldo's massive fan base. "This incident has put us in a delicate position," the head of operations began, his tone even. "While some admire your adherence to the rules, others see it as an overreach. We need to address this carefully." Marcus listened intently, his heart pounding as the discussion unfolded. He explained his actions clearly, reiterating that he had been doing his job as outlined in the protocols. "I didn't know it was Ronaldo, and frankly it wouldn't have mattered. I was ensuring the field remained reserved for authorized use," he said firmly. His honesty and conviction hung in the room, leaving the management team momentarily quiet. After what felt like an eternity, the head of operations nodded slowly. "We appreciate your integrity, Marcus. We'll stand by you, but we must navigate this with caution." Marcus felt a mix of relief and anxiety. While he had their support for now, he knew the public perception of the situation could still shift unpredictably. That evening, Marcus returned home feeling emotionally drained. The day had tested his resolve, and though he had stood by his principles, the uncertainty of what lay ahead weighed on him. As he flipped through the channels on his television, he caught a news segment about the incident. Pundits debated his actions, some calling him a symbol of fairness, while others mocked him for not recognizing Ronaldo. Marcus sighed, wondering how something so simple had turned into such a storm. Just as he was about to turn off the television, his phone buzzed with a notification that made his heart skip a beat. It was a message from Cristiano Ronaldo's team, requesting a meeting the following day. Marcus stared at the screen, a whirlwind of emotions running through him. Was this an invitation to resolve the situation or an opportunity to berate him further? Despite his apprehension, he knew he couldn't ignore it. If nothing else, it was a chance to face Ronaldo directly and explain his side of the story. Taking a deep breath, Marcus replied, agreeing to the meeting and setting the stage for what would surely be a pivotal moment in his life. The next morning, Marcus arrived at the luxury hotel where the meeting was to take place. Dressed sharply in a suit, he walked through the grand lobby, his nerves barely concealed under his calm exterior. He was led to a private lounge where Ronaldo was waiting. To Marcus's surprise, Ronaldo greeted him warmly, with no hint of the anger or resentment Marcus had feared. "Marcus," Ronaldo began, his voice calm but firm, "I've been thinking a lot about what happened. I've met many people who bend the rules for me without question, but you stood by yours. That's rare. Marcus blinked, taken aback by the unexpected praise. Ronaldo continued. It shows character, and I respect that. I'm not here to reprimand you. In fact, I think we need more people like you, people who do their job with integrity no matter who they're dealing with. Marcus felt a wave of relief and a touch of pride. The conversation shifted, and what started as a potentially confrontational meeting turned into a discussion about principles, professionalism, and the importance of standing one's ground. By the end, Ronaldo made an unexpected proposal, one that would not only validate Marcus's actions, but also change his life in ways he had never imagined. Marcus sat across from Ronaldo, still stunned by the unexpected turn of events. The football legend, who had every reason to hold a grudge, was instead speaking to him with respect and admiration. Ronaldo leaned forward, his intense gaze meeting Marcus's. You see, Marcus, he said, I've built my career on discipline and hard work, and I recognize those same qualities in you. What happened on the field wasn't just about enforcing rules. It was about standing up for what you believe in. I need someone with that kind of integrity. Marcus's mind raced, trying to make sense of what he was hearing. Ronaldo explained that he was working on a special project, an elite training academy designed to foster not only athletic excellence, but also character development. The project needed someone who could oversee operations with precision and fairness, and Ronaldo believed Marcus was the perfect fit. The offer was almost too surreal to process. Marcus, who had started this job only a week ago, was now being offered a position on Ronaldo's personal team. For a moment, he hesitated, wondering if he was ready for such a leap. But deep down, he knew opportunities like this didn't come twice. The conversation shifted to logistics, and Ronaldo shared his vision for the academy. It wasn't just about training the next generation of football stars. It was about shaping them into leaders on and off the pitch. I want this academy to stand for something bigger than the game, Ronaldo said passionately. And I need someone like you to help me ensure that every aspect of it runs with the highest standards. Marcus listened intently, his initial apprehension melting into excitement. This wasn't just a job. It was a chance to be part of something groundbreaking. Ronaldo emphasized that the role would come with challenges, handling the demands of world-class athletes, maintaining the integrity of the program, and managing the expectations of a global audience. But Marcus felt ready. The doubts that had plagued him over the past few days were replaced by a growing sense of purpose. He realized that his commitment to doing what was right, even when it wasn't easy, had brought him to this moment. Accepting the role wasn't just about career advancement. It was about proving to himself that staying true to his values could open doors he never thought possible. By the time the meeting ended, Marcus felt like his life had been flipped upside down in the best way. Ronaldo's confidence in him was both humbling and empowering. As Marcus left the hotel, his phone buzzed with more notifications, media coverage, opinions, and commentary still swirling around the viral video. But for the first time, Marcus didn't care about the noise. He had clarity now. The incident that had once seemed like a career-ending mistake had turned into the opportunity of a lifetime. Walking through the bustling city streets, Marcus thought about the journey ahead. The road would undoubtedly be demanding, but he felt ready to rise to the challenge. As he looked up at the bright sky, a small smile played on his lips. This wasn't just a new chapter. It was the start of a whole new story, one that proved that staying true to your principles can lead to incredible, unexpected opportunities. The days that followed were a whirlwind for Marcus as he prepared to transition into his new role at Ronaldo's elite training academy. While the offer was exhilarating, it came with an immense amount of responsibility that Marcus didn't take lightly. He spent countless hours researching the academy's vision, studying the intricacies of managing such a high-profile institution, and preparing himself mentally for the challenge ahead. His departure from the stadium was bittersweet. Many of his colleagues, initially skeptical of his actions, now regarded him with admiration. They saw his story as proof that integrity and determination could pay off in unexpected ways. On his last day at the stadium, Marcus took a moment to stand on the empty pitch, reflecting on how far he'd come. This was where his principles had been tested, and this was where he had stood firm. Leaving it behind felt like closing an important chapter, but he knew it was time to embrace what lay ahead. Ronaldo wasted no time in integrating Marcus into the academy's operations. From the moment Marcus stepped onto the academy grounds, he was struck by the sheer scale and ambition of the project. The sprawling facility was a haven for aspiring footballers, equipped with state-of-the-art technology and a rigorous training regimen. But what stood out to Marcus the most was the academy's emphasis on values. It wasn't just about physical training or tactical knowledge. It was about discipline, teamwork, and respect. Ronaldo made it clear that Marcus's role wasn't just administrative. He was to be a leader, someone who would enforce standards and ensure that every player and staff member upheld the academy's principles. Marcus threw himself into the role with the same dedication he'd shown throughout his career. He organized schedules, mediated disputes, and even spent time mentoring young players who struggled to balance their ambitions with the discipline required. Slowly but surely, he became an integral part of the academy's heartbeat. As the weeks turned into months, Marcus began to see the fruits of his labor. The players responded to his leadership with respect, and the academy flourished under his watchful eye. Ronaldo often checked in, not as a boss, but as a collaborator who valued Marcus's input and trusted his judgment. Their bond grew stronger, built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to excellence. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Ronaldo invited Marcus to his office for a private conversation. As they sat down, Ronaldo said, "Marcus, do you know why I believed in you from the start? It's not just because you stood your ground. It's because you reminded me of something I've always believed. Success isn't just about talent, it's about character." Those words resonated deeply with Marcus, affirming everything he had ever stood for. That night, as Marcus looked out over the academy grounds, he felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. His journey had been anything but easy, but every step had led him to this moment, and now he was determined to make the most of it, proving to himself and everyone watching that integrity truly had the power to change lives. The academy was now in full swing, with young players from around the world training under some of the best coaches in the industry. Marcus had become a cornerstone of its success, earning not only Ronaldo's trust, but also the respect of the staff and players. His ability to enforce rules fairly and lead by example had created a culture of discipline and focus. But Marcus's journey was far from smooth. As the academy gained more recognition, the pressures of managing such a prestigious institution grew. High-profile parents questioned every decision, players occasionally rebelled against the strict routines, and staff sometimes clashed over differing priorities. Marcus found himself in the middle of these conflicts, often working late into the night to ensure the smooth functioning of the academy. Yet through it all, he remained unshaken. He remembered the day he had stood his ground with Ronaldo and used that memory as a reminder that integrity was his greatest strength. One evening, as Marcus walked through the training grounds, he noticed a young player sitting alone, visibly upset. The boy, Santiago, was one of the academy's most promising talents but had recently been struggling to keep up with the demands of the program. Marcus approached him and sat down, listening as Santiago opened up about his fears of failure and the immense pressure he felt to succeed. Marcus saw a reflection of his own journey in the boy's story and shared his experience of standing firm in difficult times. "It's not about being perfect," Marcus said gently. "It's about giving your best, staying true to who you are and not letting fear dictate your choices." Santiago nodded, his eyes lighting up with newfound determination. From that day on, the boy's performance and confidence soared, and Marcus felt a deep sense of fulfillment knowing he had made a difference. As time passed, the academy became a beacon of excellence, drawing attention from across the globe. Reporters who had once criticized Marcus for his incident with Ronaldo now lauded him as a symbol of fairness and perseverance. Ronaldo himself couldn't have been prouder, often highlighting Marcus's role in interviews and public appearances. One evening, After a major tournament win by the Academy's team, Ronaldo called for a private celebration with Marcus. Over a quiet dinner, Ronaldo raised a toast. To Marcus, the man who proved that integrity and hard work can change the game, on and off the field. Marcus felt a surge of pride and gratitude, realizing how far he had come. The journey had been unpredictable and challenging, but it had shaped him into a stronger, wiser person. As he looked out at the stars that night, Marcus felt an unshakable belief that no matter what the future held, he would face it with the same principles that had guided him this far. As the Academy continued to thrive, Marcus found himself navigating a delicate balance between managing its day-to-day operations and addressing the growing attention it was receiving. Offers poured in from sponsors and collaborations with top leagues, each eager to be associated with Ronaldo's project and its rapidly growing reputation. Marcus, however, remained cautious. While these opportunities were tempting, he was determined to ensure that the Academy stayed true to its mission. One particular sponsor, a multinational corporation, proposed a lucrative deal but included stipulations that would compromise the Academy's values. Marcus refused to waver, standing firm in his decision despite pressure from some board members who were enticed by the financial benefits. When Ronaldo heard of Marcus's resolve, he personally backed his decision, reminding everyone that the Academy's success stemmed not from shortcuts, but from principles. This moment further solidified Marcus's role as a trusted leader who prioritized integrity over profit. Meanwhile, Marcus's connection with the players deepened as he became more involved in their personal growth. One standout moment came during an inter-academy tournament where one of the youngest players, Elijah, faced harsh criticism after missing a crucial penalty. The boy was heartbroken, believing he had let everyone down. Marcus found him sitting in the locker room, tears streaming down his face. Kneeling beside him, Marcus shared a story of his own failures, emphasizing how setbacks were merely stepping stones to greater success. The real test, Marcus told him, isn't whether you fall but how you rise after the fall. Those words resonated deeply with Elijah, who returned to the pitch with renewed determination in the following matches. His resilience and eventual triumph became a testament to the values Marcus was instilling in every player. The Academy was no longer just a training ground. It was a sanctuary where character and spirit were nurtured alongside skill. As the months rolled on, Marcus started to see the larger impact of his work. The young players weren't just excelling on the field. They were becoming role models in their communities, inspiring others with their stories of hard work and discipline. Parents who had once been skeptical now approached Marcus with gratitude, crediting the Academy with shaping their children into better individuals. During a grand gala celebrating the Academy's one-year anniversary, Ronaldo took the stage to deliver a heartfelt speech. Turning to Marcus, he said, "This Academy would not be what it is today without you. You are proof that one person's courage and integrity can set the tone for an entire institution." The applause was deafening, but Marcus, standing humbly in the spotlight, reflected on how far he had come since the day he confronted Ronaldo on the pitch. That singular moment of standing up for the rules had spiraled into a journey that transformed not just his life, but countless others. As the Academy gained more recognition, the challenges of maintaining its standards grew alongside its fame. Marcus found himself dealing with increasing demands from outside parties, including media outlets eager to turn the Academy's success into a headline. While these demands could have distracted from their mission, Marcus made it a priority to protect the sanctity of the Academy. One particularly challenging instance involved an influential journalist who wanted exclusive access to the players for a documentary. The proposal seemed promising at first, but Marcus realized it would disrupt the players' routines and jeopardize their focus. Despite mounting pressure from external stakeholders, Marcus stood firm and declined the offer. His decision earned him criticism from some corners, but Ronaldo stood by him, praising his unwavering commitment to the players' well-being. This trust between Marcus and Ronaldo continued to strengthen, proving that their shared vision was more important than fleeting opportunities for publicity. One afternoon, Marcus was approached by a group of parents who wanted to express their gratitude. They spoke about how the academy had not only improved their children's skills, but also transformed their attitudes and discipline. A mother tearfully recounted how her son, once shy and unsure of himself, had grown into a confident leader among his peers. Marcus listened intently, moved by the stories of personal growth that extended far beyond the football pitch. It was in moments like these that Marcus felt the true weight of his work. It wasn't just about building a successful institution, it was about shaping lives. Inspired by these interactions, Marcus began implementing new programs at the academy, including workshops on leadership, teamwork, and resilience. These initiatives quickly became a cornerstone of the academy's culture, further cementing its reputation as a place where character was valued, as much as talent. As the academy approached another milestone, Marcus found himself reflecting on the journey that had brought him here. He remembered the moment he had first encountered Ronaldo on the field, the decision to enforce the rules that could have cost him his career, and the whirlwind of events that followed. What had once felt like an overwhelming challenge now felt like a calling. The academy wasn't just a job for Marcus. It was a testament to the power of integrity and the rewards of standing by your principles. One evening, as he walked through the training grounds, he watched the players practicing under the setting sun, their laughter echoing through the air. Marcus felt a profound sense of fulfillment, knowing that he had helped create an environment where young people could not only dream, but also achieve. With every step he took, Marcus carried the lesson that had guided him from the start. True success is built on values that stand the test of time. As the academy flourished, Marcus's role continued to evolve. He found himself taking on even more responsibility, balancing his management duties with a growing need for strategic decision-making. One of his most difficult challenges came when Ronaldo announced that the academy would expand into international markets, setting up branches in multiple countries. This ambitious move would require careful coordination, new management structures, and a clear vision to ensure that the academy's values were upheld in every location. Marcus knew that this expansion could make or break the academy's reputation, and he was determined to be involved in every step of the process. The first step was to assemble a team of trustworthy leaders who would share the same commitment to the academy's principles. He personally handpicked individuals from within the academy who had proven themselves to be both capable and aligned with the mission. The international expansion was a massive undertaking, and Marcus was often stretched thin, overseeing multiple projects at once. However, he thrived under pressure, using his extensive experience in managing high-stakes situations to guide the process. One of his most significant tasks was to ensure that the training regimens and values from the original academy were preserved in each new branch. This required working closely with local teams, ensuring they understood the core principles that had made the academy successful. There were moments of tension and cultural differences that tested Marcus's patience, but he remained focused on the bigger picture. He organized cross-cultural workshops and team-building exercises to foster unity among the international branches, ensuring that everyone, no matter where they came from, understood the academy's ethos. Slowly but surely, the expansion began to take shape, and the academy's presence began to grow across borders. Despite the academy's growing global presence, Marcus never lost sight of the core values that had brought him to this point. His leadership was consistently tested, but each challenge only reinforced his belief in doing what was right, even when it wasn't the easiest or most popular choice. As he reflected on his journey, Marcus felt a deep sense of pride in what he had accomplished. He had not only helped build a global empire of football excellence, but had also created a lasting legacy that was rooted in integrity, character, and perseverance. One day, during a meeting with Ronaldo, Marcus shared his thoughts. "I never imagined that a single decision, standing firm with you that day, would lead to all this," he said, gesturing to the maps of new academy locations on the wall. Ronaldo smiled and replied, "That's the power of character, Marcus. It doesn't just shape your own future. It shapes the future of everyone around you." Those words once again reminded Marcus of the long and difficult path he had taken. But with each step, he had proven that true success was not just about what you achieved, it was about who you became along the way. As the Academy's international expansion took root, Marcus's influence continued to grow, not just within the organization, but across the football world. His story, one of perseverance, integrity, and hard work, began to inspire other institutions and leaders. Coaches, players, and even business professionals sought his advice, hoping to emulate the success he had built. However, with fame came new challenges. Marcus was now being recognized in media interviews, often asked about his leadership philosophy and how he had managed to keep the Academy grounded despite its rapid growth. These public appearances became a regular part of his life, and although he was still as focused as ever on the Academy's mission, he found himself pulled in different directions. Yet despite all the external pressures, Marcus never allowed himself to become distracted from the core purpose of the Academy, building better athletes, better leader, with the evolving landscape of international business. Marcus found himself constantly in discussions with high-level executives, sponsors, and international partners, each with their own interests. Some pushed for greater commercialization of the Academy, suggesting more branded merchandise, media deals, and even a reality TV show based on the Academy's journey. The pressure to turn the Academy into a global brand was mounting, and at times Marcus found himself torn. The financial potential was undeniable, but the last thing he wanted was to compromise the Academy's foundational principles for the sake of profit. Each decision became more complex, with every choice potentially altering the very fabric of the institution he had built. He sought counsel from Ronaldo, who had always been his sounding board. Ronaldo, ever the visionary, reminded Marcus that their success wasn't about the brand. It was about the people. "We built this Academy on trust and values. If we start chasing money, we'll lose sight of why we started," Ronaldo said, his words serving as a grounding force for Marcus as he navigated the tough choices ahead. Despite the pressures, Marcus remained resolute, reminding himself daily of the Academy's true mission. He knew that the Academy was never meant to be just another sports institution. It was supposed to be a place that shaped the future of football, both on and off the field. He doubled down on his efforts to maintain the Academy's culture, ensuring that every new branch, every new team, and every new initiative was aligned with the principles they had set out with. He worked tirelessly behind the scenes, organizing team-building exercises, leadership training sessions, and mentorship programs to ensure that the heart of the Academy was preserved. His leadership was tested like never before as he balanced the demands of growth with the need for integrity. But even as he faced the mounting challenges, Marcus found strength in the knowledge that he was not alone. He had built a team that shared his vision, and together, they remained united in their commitment to the Academy's mission. Slowly but surely, the Academy's expansion continued without losing sight of its roots, becoming a global leader in both football and character development. One evening, after a particularly intense meeting with international partners, Marcus found himself reflecting on the journey that had brought him to this point. He thought back to the early days when he had first walked through the doors of the Academy, unsure of what lay ahead. Back then, all he had was a dream, a belief in his own values, and a determination to make a difference. Now the Academy was a global institution, impacting the lives of thousands of young athletes, leaders, and communities worldwide. As he walked through the Academy's main hall, passing by the trophies and accolades that adorned the walls, he realized that the true success of the Academy wasn't in the titles or the recognition. It was in the countless lives that had been changed. Players who had once struggled with self-doubt were now confident leaders, using the lessons they had learned to inspire others. Coaches who had joined the Academy with a shared passion for football had grown into mentors, shaping the next generation of athletes. And as Marcus stood there, watching the Academy's legacy unfold before him, he knew that their work was far from over. The Academy was a living, breathing testament to the power of principles, and its journey was just beginning. He smiled, knowing that no matter the challenges ahead, the Academy would continue to thrive, because it had been built on something far more enduring than fame or fortune. It had been built on a foundation of character, integrity, and belief in the potential of every individual who walked through its doors. As Marcus continued to lead the academy through its remarkable expansion, he found that his role had shifted from being a coach and mentor to being a symbol of what the academy represented. While he had always been deeply involved in the day-to-day operations, he had started to take a more strategic role, overseeing not just the athletes' development, but also the long-term direction of the institution. This new phase of leadership was challenging in ways he hadn't anticipated. The academy's success had attracted even more attention, with major brands wanting to partner, investors looking for returns, and even governments wanting to collaborate. But despite the overwhelming offers, Marcus stuck to his core belief that success should never come at the cost of integrity. He had to remind himself regularly that the true goal wasn't wealth or fame. It was the lasting impact the academy would have on the future of football and on the players who passed through its doors. At times, the pressure felt suffocating, especially when confronted with offers that seemed too good to refuse. But Marcus had learned over the years to trust his instincts and to remember why he started this journey in the first place. To create a place where athletes could thrive, not just as football players, but as individuals capable of making a difference in the world. With each passing day, the academy's influence grew, and its reach began to extend beyond the world of football. The philosophy that had guided Marcus since the beginning, emphasizing leadership, discipline, and self-belief, was now being adopted by institutions in other fields, from business schools to leadership training programs. Marcus was invited to speak at conferences and events, sharing the academy's story and its core principles. He realized that the lessons learned on the football field had universal applications. Whether it was an athlete learning to overcome adversity or a CEO making tough decisions in the boardroom, the values of perseverance, hard work, and integrity held true across all walks of life. Despite the newfound attention, Marcus kept his focus squarely on the academy, ensuring that every program, every initiative, and every new branch aligned with the mission that had brought him success. There were moments when he wondered if the sheer size of the academy might dilute its impact, but he quickly dismissed those thoughts, knowing that as long as the foundation remained strong, the academy would continue to thrive. One evening, after a long day of meetings and planning sessions, Marcus sat in his office, staring out at the academy's training grounds. He thought about all the players who had come through the academy, many of whom had gone on to achieve incredible things both in football and in their personal lives. He thought about the young, unsure player who had walked through the doors years ago, searching for purpose and direction, and how that player had grown into a confident leader. It wasn't just about winning games or achieving trophies. It was about shaping the next generation of leaders, instilling in them the values that had been crucial to Marcus's own success. As the academy's founder, he knew that his work was never truly done. But now, he could look out at the fields and see a future that was brighter than he had ever imagined. The academy had become a beacon of hope and opportunity, a place where people could discover their potential, no matter where they came from. In that quiet moment, Marcus realized that he had achieved what he had set out to do. And with that realization came a sense of peace, knowing that the academy would continue to change lives for years to come, and that he had played a small part in creating something that would outlive him. As the years went by, the academy continued to grow, but Marcus remained grounded in the principles that had driven its success from the very beginning. The initial challenge of balancing growth with integrity had evolved into a well-oiled machine, where every decision was made with a focus on preserving the academy's core values. Ronaldo, Marcus's trusted partner, had always been a guiding force, not only for the academy, but for Marcus himself. His rule was simple, yet powerful. The true measure of success isn't in the trophies or the fame, but in the character we build and the lives we change. This mantra became the backbone of the academy, reminding everyone, from the youngest player to the most seasoned coach, that their real legacy was the positive impact they had on others, not just their victories on the field. Ronaldo continued to mentor the next generation of athletes, instilling this rule in them as they moved forward in their careers, shaping not only their sporting achievements but also their contributions to the world. The academy's influence extended far beyond the world of football, with alumni excelling in various fields, including business, politics, and social causes. The academy had become more than just a training ground for athletes. It had become a beacon of leadership and integrity, with its graduates leading change in every sector. What began as a shared vision between Marcus and Ronaldo had blossomed into a global legacy that would endure for generations. The academy's success was measured not by the wealth or fame it had amassed, but by the lives it had transformed. Ronaldo's rule had created a ripple effect that reached far beyond the academy's walls, shaping individuals who would go on to inspire others. And Marcus, looking back on everything they had built, knew that the real achievement wasn't in the recognition or accolades. It was in the values that had remained at the heart of the academy. Through all the recognition, the fame, and the financial success, Marcus never lost sight of the core lesson that had guided him from the start. The academy had become a symbol of what true leadership and integrity looked like, and it had impacted the lives of thousands of people across the world. As he walked through the academy's fields, he could see the legacy that he and Ronaldo had created. A legacy rooted in hard work, self-belief, and, most importantly, in character. Ronaldo's rule had been the compass that had steered them all, and it was a rule that would continue to shape the future of the academy for years to come. The academy was no longer just a place for athletes to hone their skills. It was a place where leaders were made, and Marcus knew that this was the true measure of their success.